Michelle Orniera.
Okay, it's time to start.
It's time.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Michael Greenman, part of the Special Events and Entertainment Committee, and this is definitely a very special event we have here today. I'll be pleased to welcome in a couple of minutes Dr. Chad Killen from the OSU College of Optometry, who leads the Low Vision and Ocular Disease Clinic, and welcome him back to Westerwood. He was here about a month ago to discuss specific vision issues. Can you all hear me? Okay. To discuss specific issues, vision issues, and challenges that people can experience, and to demonstrate the ability of a number of specialized apps for smartphones to provide improved abilities for us. We're delighted that he's able to continue this process with us, and we welcome Chad, and I hope some members of the technology group here. I see one, I guess there are two, maybe. We'll see who else comes. Plus also, we have Paul Sherry Jr. over here, Paul Sherry's son and his wife Cindy, who are both here to see if they might be able to help coming on in the future with some of the... Oh, please turn your phones off. Help people to become more familiar with the phones than they are today. So we'll look at the possibility of exploring some of the apps. We won't get into them today because that would take sort of specific, detailed, hands-on training. So today we're focusing on talking about smartphones, and if you don't have a smartphone, to illustrate some of the benefits that they might provide if you had one. Before we welcome Chad, I wanted to just ask a few questions. How many of you do have a smartphone? Just raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Good, that's a good beginning. Because if you have a smartphone, whether it's Android or iPhone, you're way ahead of it, and whether you're very familiar with it or not, we can work with that. If you have a cell phone other than a smartphone, like a flip phone or some other, anybody here with that? One, okay. And anybody who doesn't have a phone at present, because there's nothing that says you have to have a phone. Anybody who doesn't have any kind of phone? Okay. So, we'll follow Dr. Cullen's presentation with a live demonstration using the projector to show phone features up close. And he'll be using his phone, and we'll project it up there so you can see it, show some of the things that it can do. And then after that, I will want to show a handout that is will be on the screen. I was astonished when I found this on the web. The first one shows about 30 apps that are available for Apple smartphones for people with vision issues, hearing issues, movement issues, pain, and other things. I had no idea this was all available, and we have a similar app for Android phones. Not quite as detailed, but I'm sure there are other things coming along for the Android that might be of use. If you folks, and here's the key question, if you folks see a need and value after we've gone through this presentation today with being able to make use of these specialized apps to help with your vision, and then again I said eventually we'll get into hearing and other personal accessibility issues that people might have. So I think that's about it. If there is interest, then we'll ask people to stay around for a little while afterwards in a small group, perhaps one for Android, one for iPhones, to see where we go next. So now I'd like to welcome Dr. Chad Cullen to podium to begin his presentation. And I think we're ready to go. Feel free to ask questions. We have a microphone that we can pass around, this one. And otherwise, we'll have a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentations. Welcome, Chad.
Thank you. Thanks so much for...
Yeah, right here where I saw it on. Testing to know. Testing.
Is it green or red?
Red.
Push the button on the bottom left. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. So there's a lot with technology, especially with smartphones, that we can go into. I have a lot of optometry students who are interested and willing to come help out too. Unfortunately, this time period was just during some of their laboratory classwork that they had. So in the future, if people need more one-on-one help, because every phone is a little bit different, especially for Androids, we can definitely talk about that moving forward. So before we get into the specifics, I'm going to kind of take a step back to just talk about setting up a phone that can go for Android or smartphone, and just some considerations for vision that you may not have thought of. So with phones, every iPhone operates the same. However, every Android is a little bit different, or a lot of them are a little different, where you can have the Samsung Galaxy. There are just different types of Androids. A lot of them have similar features, but it might just take a few different steps to get there. So I try to go more vague with the Android systems. When you hear me talk about accessibility settings, those are things built into your phone. That's not an additional application you have to download typically. It's already built into the software as far as settings that you can adjust. And then we can also talk about apps, which you'll get from the App Store, either the Google Store, the Android Store, the iPhone, the Apple Store. And those are sometimes free, sometimes paid, that can be downloaded onto the phone separately. So first and foremost, just talking when we're considering vision, there's the case that you're going to use for your phone. So this might seem fairly obvious, but just wanted to point out that depending on your type of vision or the home where you're using your phone a lot, you might want to think about the contrast of your phone so it's easier to see when you go to pick it up, or it's not blending in. So for the top picture over on the right, I have where this individual has a wood grain case, but they have wood countertops, so it makes it a lot harder to find the phone. So just some simple things like that, some high contrast coloration might make it easier for you to just see and utilize your phone. When we're considering what cases for our phone, we're also going to think about what material. So depending on if you have dexterity issues or you have a harder time holding onto your phone, getting a phone that's made from silicone or something that has more of a grip to it might make more sense than something like a hard plastic that might be a little bit more slippery. But if you're prone to dropping your phone, things like OtterBox is a really popular brand, picture on the right, where it's like a multi-part case, so it has a little bit more protection for you. So just some things to consider. Screen protectors are a big one, and they have a lot of different types of screen protectors now. So I don't know if you've seen, there are privacy screen protectors where someone over your shoulder couldn't see what's on your screen, but you could, so depending on the way the light is hitting it. They have some that have anti-blue light, some that are a little more matte than others. And so I just wanted to point out there are a few we don't want to consider, which are some of these more, the privacy, the matte, the anti-blue, because those are gonna affect how well you can see your screen. So I would consider more of the clear, dust-proof is fine, but if you feel like you're going to drop your phone or you want that extra protection, just to consider what type of screen protector you're using, so it's not going to make it that much harder for you to see. Some of the screen protectors that are a little thicker, they can also make it harder to tap to get it to select what you want, so you might want to just consider that when you're considering adding a screen protector. For those individuals who do have visual impairments, there are something with the cases where you can either have them cut out around the buttons or it can cover the buttons on your cell phone. And that's something you might want to think about if you're someone who's relying more on the feel of the phone to know where the buttons are for volume and such, that it might be easier for you if it has the cutout to feel that button that's underneath of it versus just the silicone that would be covering it. And for those of us that are going to use our phones for apps that can provide magnification for things, or if you're going to be using your phone for longer periods of time but you don't want to be holding it, or if you are using the camera feature or the magnifier built into a phone, if you feel like you are a little shaky or your dexterity is not as great, using a stand or a grip. So all the way to the left is something called a pop socket. It's on the back of the phone, so you have somewhere to kind of hold it a little bit easier. And then these two on the right are just things from Amazon that I've had patients use They can also be used, the one in the middle, for any type of tablet, Kindle, iPad, and it's just something that uses a clamp and it's got a gooseneck arm on it, so you can kind of manipulate it and have it whether you're sitting in a recliner and you've got a table next to you, you're at a kitchen table. The one all the way to the right is more of your standard iPhone stand where it just holds it in one position, but allows us to use our phone a little bit more hands-free. And then some accessories to think about too. If you are someone who thinks you might start using their phone more frequently, and especially the vision features, you might consider getting additional chargers, so portable chargers. There are magnetic cases where you can have your wallet attached to the back of it. If you're someone who's going to use the features of different apps that allow it to take a picture and speak to you, you may consider having headphones, so those people around you, if you don't want them to hear what you're taking a picture of, to read it back for you. And then they also make some cases that have kind of like a lanyard design with it, so if you're afraid you're going to leave it somewhere or want it to be able to, rest it against your body and then be hands-free. Some things to think about too is either Android or iPhone for Apple is how you want to lay out your home screen. So depending on the level of vision you have, I usually tell people to keep things pretty simple. You can make things go into folders on a majority of phone if you're interested, but if there are apps that you know you're not going to be using and it's a little bit makes things look more cluttered, you might consider moving unused apps to a different home page, to a secondary home page, so it just kind of stays out of the way, and then you can have your icons spaced a little bit further apart. Some of the cell phones you can actually change the size of the app icons, and so that might allow you to have fewer apps on one page but have them a little bit larger. And then also considering, I don't know if people have changed the background on their phone. Some people, they want to have a picture of their dog or their grandchild, but considering whatever's going to be the best contrast for you to see the app in the background and make it less busy, that might be best for you as well. So just getting into a few features, I will say I'm an Apple user, so I'm a little bit more familiar with Apple products. I think they have a little bit easier use for accessibility features, but we'll get into both of them. So accessibility features, like I said, are something that are already built into your phone. It shouldn't require an additional download. So most of them are going to be found under settings. So this is a screenshots I took the other day for my cell phone. So under settings, it's typically right underneath general. It's because they're alphabetized, accessibility. And then they try to break them down based on what type of accessibility feature you're looking for. So there's a whole section for vision. So that's what I have a picture of on the right. There are a few I'm not going to go so far into detail with and that take a lot more training to use. So the first option under vision you might see is something called VoiceOver. VoiceOver essentially allows you to use gestures to swipe when you're swiping through the apps on your phone, and it reads every single thing that's on your screen and lets you know what you're clicking on. It can be really great, so that way I have patients who have no vision at all, but they can still use their iPhone just based on the auditory. It takes a little bit of time getting used to the gestures you have to use, and some people get frustrated because if it's reading every single thing, it's taking a lot longer to get to a certain screen. There's a zoom feature on the iPhone, which is the next under VoiceOver. That allows you to either use certain gestures and it will enlarge your whole screen or a portion of your screen. So rather than, it's not necessarily something you would use to take a picture of something and zoom in, but if you're trying to read a text message or use the web browser and need the screen zoomed in more. Hover text is a newer feature accessibility that we'll get to in a second. I have a whole slide on that. But the first thing I think we're going to get to is display and text size, because that's, I think, usually the first step people go to. So display and text size, once you click that, you're brought to another few screens. And so the first two pictures I have here, it's kind of one scrolled up, so that way you can kind of see everything. So the first thing that I think most people like to do is change their text size. So if you are someone who needs a little bit more magnification, there's a setting called larger text. And that allows you to then use the picture over here on the right, a bar on the bottom where you can slide back and forth to adjust the size that's best for you. I usually recommend when you're trying this to maybe, if you're someone who uses your phone mostly for text messages, go into a text and you can kind of see what that looks like. But you can also do things like create bold text so that everything's bold. You can reduce transparency, increase contrast. So I have my cell phone in something called dark mode, which is where it's white text on a black background. I think that's a little less harsh for my eyes, but for those with visual impairments, a lot of times they think that that just makes things pop out a little bit more. But if you had yours on the standard mode with black on white background, there's something called classic invert, which is midway down, and that will actually change the color of everything to the opposite of what it truly is. It can make things bold, but it then changes the colors of all your photos, or if you're on the web browser, and I think that can be frustrating for individuals. So I prefer just to use dark mode, because then it's not going to change any of my photos. I know I said I would talk a little bit about hover text. That's something that's newer, and so if you can see my picture on the right shows I'm creating a text message, and there's actually a box that appears above the text that shows you or previews to you what you're typing, but it shows it in a larger font. So it didn't change the size of my screen otherwise, but I can kind of preview as I'm texting, and you can change the colors, what you want the text color to be, and what you want the background to be. So it just makes everything that you're typing preview in a larger box above it. So some people like that if they have a hard time to see what they're typing, because when you change the font size, unfortunately, it doesn't change the size of your keyboard. So there's quite a few different settings. This would be a more personalized accessibility setting, because you can choose where the secondary display is, how big it is, what the font is, the border color around the box. So there's a lot of different customizations there. So that would probably be more of a one-on-one conversation. There's also, not everyone has this on their iPhone if they've deleted the app, but Apple has its own magnifier. So when you click on the magnifier, the icon is a picture, it's a black box, a white magnifier with a plus sign in yellow. It turns your phone's camera into a magnifier, so that way you're not trying to like pinch to zoom. It has a scroll bar at the bottom. It allows you to change the brightness, and then it can actually have a setting where it has a reader, so you could use your phone's camera to take a picture of something, and then it would read it aloud to you. So there are different apps to download to be a magnifier. This is Apple's version that a lot of times comes pre-downloaded onto phones unless otherwise taken away. Unfortunately, I think a downfall to this is the icons that control it are not always the biggest, so it's not always the easiest for people to use, but it's nice because it is pre-built in. We're going to pivot a little bit to Android accessibility settings just to show you that many of them are the same. It's just where they're located under the settings, and that might take more one-on-one depending on which operating system you have for your Android. So this is, I think, the most common Android system here, and you can see under settings, I have it highlighted in a red box, accessibility. The nice thing I think about Android is they have an accessibility menu shortcut that you can turn on, so that way it keeps all of the controls for different accessibility features together for you. So that might be more than just vision, because most phones have others for hearing, for physical limitations and things. So when you kind of click into vision enhancements, is what some of the operating systems call it. You can change your display mode, whether that's the default high contrast, which switches it to the white on black, or a large display setting. You can also just invert different colors, have different filters over it, and change the text size itself. And then similarly, this is a different operating system over on the right. You can see they have actually under display, you can change the text size, you can make your device dim or how the brightness adjusts. There is a magnification or magnifier built into the Android system as well. And then something that I just wanted to bring up too is that a lot of technology now, especially newer ones, have accessibility features included. So depending on, for example, like if you have anything I talked about for the iPhone also works for iPad, tablet. Kindles oftentimes have accessibility features to change text size and contrast, and even TVs too. So depending on what TV you have, if you have a smart TV, if you have, like, for example, the Roku TV, the Google TV, you can oftentimes change how big the closed captions are if you're someone who likes to listen and read the captions. Some of the newer TVs, like this is a Google TV down at the right, has audio description. So if you have low vision or poor vision, you can turn on audio description where it will describe what's going on to you. So that's something that to consider too. It goes beyond a lot of times just the smartphones. Before I connect my cell phone to the screen to kind of show you a little bit more, any questions so far?
I have a question.
Sure.
The hover text, is that on all iPhones?
Yes.
I can't find it on mine, so.
We can one-on-one, and it
Yeah.
might be too, I shouldn't say all iPhones, it depends probably what update you have. So if you have an older iPhone that can't support the newer iOS,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure it was 2 iOS's ago that it came out, so I can always help you with that too. Alright, put this in here real quick. I know a lot of this has been pretty brief, but I think it is so much easier when you're sitting with someone one-on-one because everyone's preferences will be a little bit different. There's not too many settings where you should not be able to reverse what you've done. So sometimes people just need to play with it a little bit. Okay, so I wanted to show you, if I go to settings here, this is the general page when you get to settings. And so if I scroll down, under general, there's accessibility. And that's what I had the screenshot of. So I'm gonna just give you an example of what some of these do, so that way you can learn from the screen versus getting stuck somewhere on your phone that you don't wanna be.
Can you make that larger on the screen? I'm not sure if you can or not.
I don't know, that might be a question for our friend over here.
Let me see if I can.
Like zoom in or something.
Aha!
Okay, we got it a little bit bigger, that's perfect. So to show you, I'm gonna click on zoom. And the top one is where I would turn it off. So you'll see, right now, the default is it magnifies the entire screen. It has a default which how you make it zoom, which is to double tap the screen with 3 fingers at a time. It's not very easy for everyone. So you can control that as far as how you want it, what settings you want it to use to make it happen. So if I turn it on, see if it catches up. Okay, it's not gonna show it on the screen, unfortunately. But essentially you double tap with 3 fingers and then you can make it zoom that way. You can also change it so that way, right now it has it that the full screen is gonna zoom, but you can change it so it makes just a small window that zooms. So once you zoom in, you then use your 3 fingers to drag the screen around to go to different areas. Now if you're someone who you're like, I don't need it to zoom all the way in, just a little bit, this scroll bar at the bottom allows you to adjust how much it zooms when you triple tap. So I have, or the 3-finger double tap. I have it right now, it goes all the way up to 15 times, but you can change it, because obviously the more you magnify it, the less you're gonna see at once. The thing I really wanted to show, so this is usually where hover text is, it's underneath the zoom, but then display and text size, so these are all the things we can change. So I don't know if you can tell, I'm gonna toggle on and off the bold text. So this is kind of what it does, it just makes things a little bit stronger. And then I'll show you, if I turn off dark mode. So now it's just your normal black on white. You can see it still bolds things. So then if we go to larger text, this is where the scroll bar at the bottom changes how big the words are going to be on your screen. If you need it even larger than it allows you, there's this button at the top that says larger accessibility sizes. You can turn that on, and it just gives you even more room to scroll all the way over so you can make it pretty big. I usually recommend trying what apps you normally like to use or what the browser if you like to search the web, so you can kind of see, because you don't want it to be so big to where it's going to be frustrating for you to use. So I'm going to leave it bigger, I guess, as we go through, so that might make things a little bit easier. Reduce transparency. That's usually for like if icons have a transparent background, it can fix that. Increase contrast. So I already have bold on. You can kind of see it just made things a little maybe a bit darker. But if I turn bold off and just do the contrast, yeah, it just kind of highlights it a little bit. Smart invert, which is down here, this is where I talked about when it's on your standard mode. It changes it as well, but then it will also change, like if you go to your photos, it will, this is my niece, it can make the photos look a little weird. So sometimes I don't like to do the smart invert and just like to turn the dark mode on. For those people that maybe like it to be bright, but then it maybe causes them too much glare, there are color filters. So you can choose which color you like to use. So for example, if you did like a yellow, let's see here. You can change kind of what color it is. They also have ways you can change the color filter if you have a color impairment. So if you're red-green colorblind, it can change some of the colors around that way. Auto brightness, some people like to have that turned on where it's going to automatically dim your phone if you're low battery. I usually tell people to turn it off because once you find your brightness setting, you don't want it to change every time you open a different app. So I usually keep that turned off. So that's a lot of the stuff under display and text size, but if I go back, you'll see that it has, you can turn on audio descriptions for different apps that support it, but then underneath vision, there's a lot of other different controls. So your hearing controls, your physical and motor, speech. So there's really a lot you can do under here. But I think the sweet spot is under that first vision, those first few things. So I wanted to show you a few different apps I have that I use with my patients at work. The first one I use is called Supervision Plus. It's a free app, just on iPhone, but there's another one over Android called WeZoom that does a lot of the similar things. So if I click on this, it's the one with the magnifier. It's now using my camera as a way for me to magnify. So if you can see there's a scroll bar on the side. So as I run my finger up, it zooms in. So if you're at the grocery store or have a medicine bottle, I'm gonna use this water bottle over here. Sorry if I'm making anyone busy. And I wanted to be able to read it a little bit better. You can zoom in pretty significantly. So this is more for what you have that's not on your phone screen already. And it has a button at the bottom where you can change it to be inverse colors. So some individuals, now, not perfect, this is a round object, so some of it you can see is more clear than others. But if you got a piece of mail that you really wanted, or a number on a check you wanted to see a little bit bigger, this is a free app where you can do that.
Would you remind us what that app is called?
Yeah, it's called Supervision Plus.
Okay.
And I think it might be on one of the handouts from last time I gave, but I can also make sure you get a copy of it too. There's another free one called the HumanWare Explore app, which is the one down here with the orange magnifier. I like this one as well. However, it does not allow you to change the background colors. But some people like this because of the controls where you see the plus and minus. So again, you just press the plus button as much as you want to magnify. And then once you get to a point where you like the magnification, if you feel like I'm a little shaky right now, I can hit this plus sign and it pauses. So it freezes the image so then I don't have to hold still anymore. Another really popular app that's free is called Scene AI. It uses your camera as well. It does a lot more, has a lot of features.
Use slideshow 42 hours and describe.
So, I just changed it. So the first setting it takes you to is read, where basically whatever you point your phone at, it's gonna start reading it to you. So if I have this water bottle in front of me,
0 faces.
I'm gonna press
474,243. CI echoes. Berries. Water. Water. Monkeys. Watier.
So I just took a picture of it.
237 ml.
And then it reads it back to
Purity
you.
drinking water 8R02. 23 BL.
Now again, not perfect by any means, especially because this is not a flat object. The thing that I do like about this app
19 million
is
describe.
you can have it describe. So Michael, let's use you as an example.
2 faces.
So if I take a picture,
1 face need processing.
He's not on Wi-Fi, so it's not as fast as it might be.
yeah. All right, that
0
might-
faces. 1 face recognize new person.
Okay. So this, you can take a photo of
1
someone,
face near center. 2
and
feet,
then
1
if
face
you
near
have this
left
app
edge, 2
open,
feet
it'll
away.
recognize them when they're in front of you.
Good.
0
So
faces.
other things that I like about
More.
this are, it has a color
More.
color identifier.
More.
It has a color identifier,
More.
so it can tell you what color things are.
Gray.
So I don't know if you can hear it.
Brown. Gray and violet.
So
Black.
I've had some people who, if they can't tell the
Brown.
difference between navy and black pants, that might be nice for them.
More.
It can also identify color or currency. So if you can't tell what kind of bill you have in front of you.
Person.
Okay, Michael, let's try this again.
1 face near top edge. 6 1 face near center. Processing. 69-year-old man with gray hair wearing glasses looking neutral.
So
Thank you, thank you.
depending on if you like that friend or not, it might over or underestimate their age. But
I'll take it.
and then the other thing it's nice that it can do is
0 faces.
it can
More.
read
Product.
barcodes or barcodes. So I'm trying to see if I have anything up here with a barcode on it.
You can read barcodes.
Okay, here, let me see. Here's some antibacterial soap. So,
Processing.
so I just held it in front of it. Oh, and it didn't recognize it. Let's see.
Processing. Processing.
That's not gonna work for me. But to tell you, it should. So if you're at the grocery store, it can take a picture of a barcode label and then read to you what the product is. As you can see, even just I'm a fully sighted individual, and this app can be a little tricky to navigate. Fun to do on your own time, I think, too. But for people who need more audio versus the visual aspect, it can be really nice to have a free app that can take a picture and read something to you. So if you got a postcard in the mail, a card, you could take a picture and it could read it to you and tell you what it said.
Is that just Microsoft or is it Apple?
Apple also. So I'm on an app. I think Microsoft makes the app, but it can be on Android or Apple. Yeah. So I think that's kind of a lot of the introduction to phones and some of the app stuff I wanted to talk about. I think Michael has He has found a website, I think it's through the Hadley School, which is a school for visually impaired, and I think it's accessibility features, and it has video tutorials on the features that are already built into the phones. But like I said, I know a lot of this is personalized person to person, so I'm definitely willing to come back for more one-on-one or small group if everyone has a few similar goals. And some of my optometry students, I think, would love to, in the future, be able to come in if it's a time where they're not in class, to sit and help people with this as well. So let me plug this back into your laptop for you.
Yep.
Is this turned on? We're gonna ask for questions.
Did you want to pull up your website?
Yep. Okay, thank you, Joe. As before, any questions, any questions that you have, please just ask. I'm going to bring up,
I have.
oh, over there, okay.
Coming.
I was playing with my iPad and the last bit about the light, so I switched it off and everything went black instead of white background. So see how everything is white instead of black.
Mm-hmm. So,
So what,
if you swipe down here,
are you trying to get the other one?
here we go. So where you change the brightness, if you press
List
hold,
to get email.
you can
This is going to be a list of all the people in the vision group.
yeah.
Yes, if you would sign it and email.
Yeah, we have another question.
No.
Yeah.
What-
Absolutely.
they
So the
can
question
read-
was, can we get this in writing form?
It's
I
a
can
new
absolutely,
list. Patty's going to
Yeah.
make a new list.
absolutely. I will get that and
Good
get it to
question.
Patty and Michael, who they can distribute.
My name right here.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be some more step-by-step
It's
written.
hard to.
Does anybody have
Both
questions
our names, I guess, and then,
in the audience? Oh, I'm coming.
but my eyes won't allow me to do it.
I understand, yes.
Okay,
I think we had another question over here.
Okay, so if you have vision problems, how in the world can you see this to set it up?
That's where we come in, I think. So oftentimes to get it initially set up will require some help getting you potentially to those settings. So yeah, absolutely. The other thing too that I didn't quite get into as well, and I don't know how familiar people are too, but there are some ways or some things that people might find easier to use. Hey Google or Hey Siri to kind of answer things for you or to send text messages, things like that. But as far as like some of the display settings, that we could probably do more individualized to help you get to it initially to get it set up to where then you can use your vision.
This is very timely. My sister, we just talked to my sister, she has a lot of blood and she has one very bad eye and blood in the other eye. She can only see hazy things.
Mm-hmm.
So a neighbor came over and helped her learn at least some way of controlling her phone by voice.
Sure.
But she's not gonna be able to do anything on her own.
Yeah, and that's what, so oftentimes most states through the government have programs for older individuals with visual impairments, and they may have more specialists that can work one-on-one as well. And it's oftentimes can be a self-referral system. The unfortunate part right now is those are kind of the programs that are having some reduced funding with just the state of affairs these days. But also the individual that was here last time when I spoke, I think she's a vision rehab therapist who does a lot with this kind of stuff too, and she was saying that she'd be willing to come back, I think, too, and help out some.
And she is going to come back. I don't have a definite date yet, but we will have another presentation for her.
yeah, that's already discussed with her, and she'll be coming back, and we'll certainly let everybody know who expresses an interest. I just opened the Apple site that has a number of apps that are available to download or are already in the phone. I think Chad mentioned some of them. VoiceOver, the magnifier is relatively, it's been improved recently, and it also has OCR capability now. You can take a picture of text and it'll read it, or you can transfer it to another document. Braille access, take notes, open apps, and get real-time captions in Braille. Accessibility reader, customize text to read and focus at your comfort level. Read and speak settings. You can have any text on your screen read aloud, including letters and words as you type. Display settings and text size, I think Chad's talked about these. Oops.
I think one thing we didn't talk about is something I use every day, and I use speech to text. And all of my emails and texts are not typed. I speak it, and sometimes it doesn't really get it 100%, but you can do that without typing. I can't type to send a text anymore.
Yeah, that's one that is easy. Is it on the Apple, or do you have to download it?
I have an Android.
Okay, on Android. I'll get to the Android page after this, and we'll see what they have.
Most of it's built in.
Yeah.
I think it is built in, and I think it's called speech to text.
Okay. All over the place. Vehicle motion cues helps passengers reduce motion sickness while using their device in a car. Dim flashing lights, zoom. Well, some of these were already described. But this document I can pass on to anybody, or you can download it yourself from the Apple site. And let's see, yeah, darn it, I'm touching it, it goes into the detailed one. Sensory alerts, get your notifications through sound, vibrations, a flashing light, or all three. Then we go down to hearing, for those who also might have an interest in that. AirPods feature a clinical grade hearing aid capability. Get real-time captions of live conversations and audio from apps. Use your device's microphone to amplify conversations and get captions of what you hear. And made for iPhone hearing devices, hearing aids and more made specifically for your Apple devices. Music haptics, I'm not going to go into the details of all of these, because if you have an interest, by all means, we can point you in the right direction on this, or you can make use of this with somebody's help or on your own. FaceTime, background sound, sound and name recognition, sensory alerts, real-time text to communicate during a phone call right from your Apple device. So it'll speak to you the text that is coming in. And closed captions, that's available in so many things these days. Transcriptions gives written transcripts of podcasts, intercom messages, voice memos, and voicemail or audio messages. Lots of things. And then speech. These features help you share your voice or communicate by text if you have a speech disability, such as atypical speech, are non-speaking, or prefer to connect without speaking. This live speech takes your typed words and speaks them out loud. Personal voice. I won't go through all of them because they may not be of interest to
And this is a lot to take in.
It is, yeah. It's all there though, and we can get it to you in whatever form you need. Okay, Siri, and then mobility. Features that help you with how you interact with and control your devices if you have trouble with dexterity, limb differences, or reduced mobility. Voice control, switch control, head tracking, navigate and control your device with head movements. That's getting pretty sophisticated. Eye tracking, again, we don't need to look at those now, but just know that there is a lot out there that can be brought to you. And then cognitive. These features can help you learn, focus, and stay connected if you need support with comprehension, attention, or communication. Again, number of different apps.
Too many.
Yeah, you're not gonna get them now, but just, I think it would be helpful and reassuring to know that there is a lot out there, that for whatever your issue is, whatever your problem is, whatever your challenge is, there's likely to be something out there that can be brought to you so that you can have a more normal life, accessibility to things that you don't have today, perhaps. Okay, there's a lot more. I won't go through that. Let me get the other one, which is the Android, and I think that's right here. Okay, now this is Android. Captions. See, it's giving you exactly what's happening in the speech that's going on. Down again. Ask Gemini for details. Android's built-in screen reader, TalkBack, is now supercharged by AI. It not only gives you a description, but lets you ask Gemini questions to dig into the details you care about. AI is coming everywhere, from all over the place. Lots of AI apps.
Is Gemini an AI?
Yeah. It's Google's.
It's a Google AI app?
Or website, yeah, it's like if you search Google Gemini, it's a web page where you can ask questions and
I think I downloaded it, but I never used it.
yeah.
I'm not sure what to do with it.
And that's the thing, if people have it, it may take a collaboration between the person who needs it and someone who is, let's say, otherly abled and can make use of the instructions and show one-on-one or one-on-small group. And that's what we'd like to see if we can develop here, because, as I said, many of us, many of you, many of us have pretty decent knowledge of some of these things, and if we are willing, can have private sessions with people who'd like to know more and would like to use these sorts of things and are uncomfortable about it without having the training, either in the basic use of the iPhone or Android phone, or in maneuvering within apps. They're all challenges that can, in some cases, be overcome by training. Taking a look here a little bit more, vision, explore your world with vision tools, audio, amplify what matters, mobility, use your phone with mobility tools. Again, there's lots of different features available.
Are there
Any questions
people who
about-
would be interested in having one-on-one sessions with Dr. Killen's?
Students, perhaps?
Raise your hand if you would be interested in that.
And what?
In one-on-one sessions with Dr. Killen's students. If that-
Or possibly people here.
Or technology group.
The technology group is, I think, Fred, we're meeting after this is over, is that still correct?
We can.
Were you planning on it? Was that announced?
It depends.
Okay.
If we have any questions.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, we can stand up here and invite people to talk and give information that might be of help, might be of value to our residents. But well, yeah, there's a lot there, and obviously we can't take it all in. But if there's one thing that somebody wants to start with, for instance, either learning to use smartphones better, or if they know how to use a smartphone, learning to use a specific app that will help you in your day-to-day activities. These are things that we can help with. Now, you may not want to commit right at this point, but I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to put your name and phone number and email address on the form that Bev over here has, and we'll make this a list of vision-interested people, and as things come up, we'll announce them, we'll provide information, and respond to needs. We're not going to talk to empty rooms or talk to people that just are curious but don't really have any interest in going any further. So you were asking, Patty, I saw a couple of hands coming up, people who would like to have support, assistance. Do you want to, Bev, do you want to maybe take some names down if we get some hands raised, expressing interest?
Yeah, oh, sure.
Okay,
Let me finish this.
yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we have a need right there, so we'll take care of that.
I think it's important that we hear from people as to their day-to-day needs,
Yeah,
what they're having problems with.
Absolutely.
We don't need to do a general kind of. I think we just need to know, what are you having problems with on your phone? Are you having problems getting into to Icon? And can we help you do that more easily with accessibility? You know, we can ask. Anyway, I think we need to look at it more from what people are actually not getting to do that they would like to do that they can't get to.
yep. Any comments on that? Anybody have an issue with their phone that they really just don't know how to do something?
Jerry does.
Jerry?
Where's your phone?
Oh,
Yes, he has a password for his voicemail, which he doesn't need, but I couldn't see how to get rid of it.
Okay, so to be able to get into it without a password,
Yes,
yeah, I'm sure that's
and
doable.
to make answering his phone easier.
Yeah.
Because the method that his phone is demanding to answer a call just isn't very effective.
So Jerry, would you need or appreciate some help? Is that an iPhone or an Android?
It's an Android.
Okay, with an Android phone, that seems like pretty basic stuff that somebody who is
It
used
does,
to.
but I can't see well enough.
Yeah, no, of
to do
course,
it.
no expectation of that, but somebody who does see and is familiar with Android could help you directly one-on-one with those specific issues and perhaps others. So are you putting yourself down, Jerry, as
Yeah.
welcoming assistance for Android phone
Yes.
interactions?
I already have.
Okay, good. Hey, we got one. And yes, Tom back there. Do you want to,
Tom and Sam.
Karen, Patty, do you want to take the microphone back to Tom?
Yes. Oh,
Wait, we can't hear you. Wait a second. She's bringing the microphone back to you.
We're about to buy.
Don't wait till she gets the microphone there.
Okay, go.
Okay, we're about to buy another asset.
Right into the microphone.
And I'd like to know what is the best route to take when you're doing that, because I've tried this before, but a lot of times at Apple, a lot of times when you go in there into their store, they get, they'll push something off on you, and then if you're gonna go back and get some help, it's usually, with my kind of thing, I couldn't get the help.
Yeah.
So there's other places we went to get it.
Well, perhaps what you need is somebody to go with you to a store who is familiar. Yeah, or talk about it ahead of time and
You have to call ahead of time to Apple to set up an appointment.
yeah. All kinds of possibilities. If you have those needs, let us know.
We raised our hands to
Yeah.
have one-on-one.
One-on-one?
Did Beth get your information?
I don't know if she did or not.
yes, I have your,
Okay.
your information.
Okay, Sandy and Tom, we've got you down. Who else? Otto? Are you good, or you want, sorry? You okay?
Yep.
Okay, anybody else? Yes,
I have a question.
Georgia. Wait for the microphone.
use of the magnifier to magnify on the phone,
Yeah,
magnification.
yeah,
You need help with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
She needs help with that.
Right, and I might also mention, if you don't know that already, we have magnifier machines in each of our wings. that allow you to put something you want to read, whether it's a prescription bottle or text, on the plate and have it magnified so that it can get pretty big to the point where there's almost just one letter showing. So those are available throughout our buildings here. But anyway, you're down for learning how to use the magnifier, right? Okay, anybody else? Right off the bat?
Everybody else know everything there is to know about your phone? Well, then why aren't you asking questions?
I've got a question about phones.
Go ahead, Sandy, the microphone.
This is for Dr. Chad, who's the expert. We put a special app on his phone that was from Apple, and what happened was he got to choose 5 separate apps that he could just touch, and then like one was he could go to the bank, he could go to calls, he could go to well, there were 5 things. So, the good thing was you could go to my phone right away. So it was the screen was wonderful. But then people started calling in and we couldn't get to connect with the callers, and we couldn't get off the screen.
So you're stuck in the app.
I'm wondering if you know how quickly to get off that frozen screen.
Frozen, that's,
I'm not sure. it's
I probably have to take a look
Yeah.
at it.
I
Yeah.
can't get off of it to answer calls.
yeah. Okay, I'm sure that's something that can be resolved.
Yeah,
So-
just have to take a look at
Yeah.
it.
Anybody else? Okay. Any other questions in general about what Chad's talked about? About what you'd like to see, or we've asked now about your concerns and problems, and I'm sure if you're on our list and we get emails out to you asking you to let us know what you need, some of you will have something you'll come in with and we can proceed from here. Right now, I'm not getting, go back over here. I'm not getting an indication that we need to set up a formal program to be able to respond to people. And that's what I'm really hoping for. But if we don't, we don't. And you know, we'll move on. Patty's vision group is growing. We have a lot of people in it. We don't have a lot of residents yet who are able to use these instruments and the apps, offering to help others with it. Maybe that'll come too, maybe not. I'm known as a pusher. I'm not pushing. I'm asking.
Something that has to be developed as it goes along.
Yeah. At some point, we need to start developing it.
Right.
That's the thing.
Baby steps.
Right. So,
Now, if Dr. Killen would come back with some of his students to help people with their various devices, could I see a show of hands who would be interested in coming to that?
I don't have an iPhone, so I can't.
mhm.
I don't have an iPhone.
But you have an Android?
No,
Do you want to get one?
I'm thinking about it.
You can get, by the way, I've been looking into these online, there are remanufactured iPhones and Android phones, not the latest technology, but remanufactured, fixed up, and with a warranty that you can use a lot of the software with. So if you'd like to look at the possibility of getting some kind of smartphone when you don't have one now,
Yeah,
we can certainly help you with that.
yeah. I mean, I got my iPad and most of the things on my iPad.
Well, iPad, oh, you should have said that. iPad, most of the things we talked about that are for the iPhone are also available for the iPad.
Right, yeah, I've got it on there.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Like the magnifier, I got that.
Sure,
on the iPad.
sure. A lot of things that the iPhone has are also available on the iPad.
I'd like to say one thing about Apple, that if you,
Let me, well, yeah, I'm filming this, so I'd like to have it recorded.
one thing about Apple, if you call them up ahead of time and set up an appointment, telling them what you're looking for, what you want to do, they'll have somebody that will work you through the process. They're not going to sell you anything that you don't need. And they're not going to be pushy, and they're going to explain to you step by step on how your phone will work. So, but you do have to call them to set up an appointment.
Thank you, George, and let me add on to that. I have used Apple support many, many times over the years, and let me ask this question. How many of you, with whatever instrument you have, phone or tablet or computer, have called for help from Apple or Windows and have had somebody connect to be on your phone or on your computer or on your tablet?
Yeah, I got them on my iPad. If I need help, all I have to do is contact them, they pop right up.
That's right. That is a simple process, and if you have a need for that and haven't learned how to do that, I'm sure somebody can help you with that as well. So, okay, I don't know if we have any other questions or more to say. Yes, Otto, just a minute, wait for Patty.
Okay, so I keep looking, I can't find the hover text. So my question is, maybe my phone's too old, or maybe I'm too old.
Well, let's
A little bit of both.
when we're finished here, either one of us or Chad can help see what the situation is. Okay. I think we've covered most of what we wanted to cover. Again, I'd like to repeat, if you haven't already, please do put your name and email and or phone, preferably email because emails are easy to give out, onto that list, and we'll add you to our list on the computer. And well, what's next? As Patty said, we have Megan coming back. Those of you who were here during Chad's earlier talk, she was introduced, and she's local, and she's a professional, so I think she takes insurance. Is that right? I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, those are things we can look into. But there are also services and organizations that are manned by volunteers that we can get help with. There's a lot of help out there, but we've got to want it and ask for it and come together to talk about what is needed. And if nothing is needed, life goes on. We've got a great life here, and maybe no changes are needed. Any other comments or questions? Or shall we bring this to a close and thank Chad very much for your help here today and the future? And we look forward to perhaps having some grad students who are familiar with all of this come back at some future time. But if that's to happen, we need to know that somebody is here to listen to them and to work with them if they do come. Are you wanting to do that? Okay. Okay. No other questions. Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you, Chad. Let's give him a hand. And thank you, Patty. And Bev, who's back there, is a new part of our vision group, and she's got the questionnaire, or the fill-in sheet. Onwards and upwards. Thanks very much. Anything you'd like to say, Patty?
No, I already said it.
Okay, she's already said it. Bev? Bev Shaw. I don't know if you all know Bev yet. She's a, sorry? Who needs help right now? We've had a few who have raised their hands. And maybe Otto.
Georgia said she.
Georgia needs help. Otto, yours is Android? Your phone is Android? iPhone. Well, maybe I or Fred, or your iPhone, aren't you? Let's just take a look at that after we shut off here and see what the problem is. Okay, again, thanks very much. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and be well, and enjoy things. Bye-bye.
No, I need.
you wanna shut off the, Sean, do you wanna shut off the projector?
See if I can get one of those rabbits that sits on it and help me now, you know.
Oh, I'll send you those. This list of well, one thing might be.
I need an assistant with my son.
Except on the second. Things we received from the library. Every day a little bit more. Okay. Okay, let me stop this from recording.
I looked at his phone, and my phone as well doesn't have hypertext, but it's just because it's not a new enough phone, I believe. ISO, yeah, I
I
have.
just put on 26 yesterday. I
Oh,
have no
okay.
idea what it is.
Okay, well, and that could be true, he hasn't done enough.
Let's see what he has. I will see that right now. Thanks.